Now, I honestly was not as offended by the sentiment, which I took as a compliment, as I was by the fact that once again, there were these unnecessary and unneeded papers put into our mailbox. And that someone was so thoughtless as to do this at the very end of my career. But we have here with us the two-man man, the memo man, and the moving man. And some of you know what that means, so I appreciate being introduced here by Dan. It's been a tremendous 37-year journey. It's been one of the fastest journeys I could ever be on. And I thank all of you for putting up with me and allowing me to be the teacher that I've wanted to be. I only hope that my next 37-year journey is as rewarding and I meet as many good people as I have here. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Next, the man that I personally hold responsible for the crisis we had over the R-rated films in this district this year. And the irony, you people don't know the half of this, you know. It had nothing to do with the sex and the violence. He played the damn battle scenes too loud. I'm talking about the Last of the Mohicans, and I'm talking about my colleague, John Hunt, who's been in the NAHS area school district for 31 years, one in Philadelphia, and has coached a bunch of things: freshman football, varsity basketball, middle school baseball. His wife is Colleen, he's been married to for 31 years. 2 children, John 30 and Tim 26. John lives in Houston, married with 1 child. That means you're a grandfather. And Delaware grad. Tim lives at home, single, works for Vanguard, that's where all my money is, and Temple University grad. John's extremely proud of teaching in NASD for 31 years. When asked how he felt about Norristown and the students here, he replied, "Great, the kids are great. I wouldn't have been here for 31 years if they weren't." My friend, my colleague, John Hunt.
I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to have too much attention brought to myself, but I look around and I see so many faces that I've looked at for 30 years. Going back 30 years, I just can't believe it. A person wonders how 31 years can go so quickly. It does. And what Dan said is true. I just about loved every second. I wouldn't do it any other way. I love the kids, I love the coaching, and I appreciate you guys coming tonight, and I love my wife, Colleen, and my children, and thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Another colleague from the Social Studies Department. Boy, we're really getting hit big time. Mr. Jim Pyle. 30 years here at NASD, working at the high school for the past 15 years. He also taught at Stewart, Rittenhouse, and Eisenhower. Coached baseball, track wrestling, and football. Attended William Tennant High School, and got his degree from Juniata College in Western PA. Little blurb here, and I mean this. Jim is a walking miracle. He has overcome cancer, has had a kidney transplant. His ability to view life optimistically, no doubt, has much to do with that. Despite these problems, Jim has never complained. Not once have we ever heard him complain about anything. He remains an example to everyone. Jim's students have expressed admiration and respect for him. They even enjoy his jokes and his sense of humor. And Jim recently became a grandfather, and Jim says his time in Norristown has made him glad that he chose teaching as a profession. He says, looking back, he would not change anything regarding his career. Mr. Jim Pyle.
Thanks, Don. Most of you that know me know that I talk incessantly, and I could stand up here and talk to you all night, but I'm going to have to cut this short and make it start back. I have never been to a retirement dinner before, and I'm sorry I didn't, because this is great, and I'm certainly going to go to future ones. And thank you for all coming. It's great to see everybody here, and especially people that have recently retired, and people that I haven't seen in a few years. Some of our retirees were talking about, what are your best times, what do you remember? We remember the old times and the recent times, but I'm going to paraphrase an old song. These are the good old days. The good old days are now. And I've really enjoyed the last few years at Norristown High School. And, I guess I wouldn't have changed anything. John said, though, he's been here for 32 years because he loved it. I tried to get out so many times, but nobody else would take me. But, it's great that I stood here, and I thank you all for coming, and I'm really going to enjoy myself in my retirement. Thank you.
I love his wife, too. Teachers were asked to fill out their biography on a 5x8, 3x5. Well, Leonard Rosenthal chose a 5 foot by 8 foot chart. So I don't know if I have time to do this, but one of my true friends here, 30 years at Norristown. Prior to teaching, Len was in the hotel management field, taught hotel management with Whitcomb Schools of America. Men's clothing store operator in Elmira, New York, a jewelry store manager, and it goes on and on and on. And on to the second page, and now wait, there's a third page, there's a fourth page. Now, this is what I really get to. His achievements. Is this a political convention? Are we voting for Leonard? Come on up here, Leonard. In the Clinton administration, Leonard and I have had 126 major nose-to-nose fights about politics, and I have loved every minute of it. He is a man of passion, he is a man of enthusiasm, and that's what I want to say about my friend Leonard Rosenthal. There are 5 pages of his accomplishments here, but that's not important. What I consider to be important about Len is that he is a great teacher. He has given all to his students, to this school, and we have been inspired by his presence here. Leonard, congratulations.
Believe it or not, I won't say very much, but, okay. Now, where's the list I gave you? Sid Roebuck Foundation, Teacher of the Year, NAHS, okay, it's been my life. It really has been. And I feel almost that I'm deserting those juniors and sophomores who won't make it without me next year, but I know they will. I want them to bring me some more glory. I know there's some national winners in there somewhere, but it has been just fantastic. And to know people when they were single and they get married and they have children and they grow up and they get out of high school and they get married and they go off and they have children and you still know their parents, the whole time. It's fabulous. And to see teachers who have retired, a tenured Dot Roth, I haven't seen her for 13 years. She looks fabulous. And whoever she is. And I'm just thrilled. I didn't think I would ever get old enough to be the retirement dinner person, but I am, and I will miss you all very, very dearly. I leave it in the hands of the wonderful staff at the Business and Marketing Department. I want that to be called that from now on. Mary Lou, She left, they won't answer the phone, business and marketing. Anyway, I thank you for everything, and I will never forget any of it. Thanks a lot. Harold Leonard Rosenthal.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree comes from the English department. She has been here for 34 years, ran the NAHS Literary Magazine, was the head of the English department, worked on choral reading, class sponsored, directed plays at Stewart Middle School, is and was an EANA representative several times for several years, a wife, a mom, an amateur artist, church volunteer. She wants to volunteer at her son's school when she is retired. This is her favorite memory. Her favorite story concerned how hard she and B. Stanley worked to overcome a student's glottal stop. That's a G-L-O-T-T-A-L stop. A speech impediment or mispronunciation that caused the student to say couldn't without the N sound. After several frustrating weeks, the student succeeded. The following Monday, he came in to tell Kathy that he had asked his friend what was wrong with his way of saying couldn't, and his friend simply replied, nothing. That really happened. It wasn't a joke, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Roscoe.
Sort of like the man who came to dinner and stayed and stayed and stayed. I was a student teacher at Stewart, and some of you have heard the story, but I ended up, first of all, terrified to go teaching and getting a little postcard where I could choose an area to teach, and I thought I would choose the Philadelphia area because my parents lived around here in Doylestown, and I could go home and visit. Then I got another postcard, and I had to go by that. I had to choose Norristown, Wayne, or Paoli. And I had never heard of Wayne or Paoli, but my father had had a dear friend in the state hospital, so. Then some young ladies and I from Penn State searched around town. We came to Norristown about a week or two before student teaching to search for an apartment. And we looked around and saw all the churches and thought, this must be a good place. And I have never been of another opinion since then. I've been privileged to have so many wonderful students. Some of them are sitting here. Kirk Brewster, my first homeroom, and Angelo. And Mark Stroll is not here, but and then student teachers, Nancy Davis, and again, I beat this story to death, but some of you haven't heard it. That's a good one. I was teaching during the summer school at Rittenhouse, and Floyd Cash came to the door with, I thought, another student. And he walked in, someone that turned out to be Nancy Davis, but I didn't know that. I thought it was just maybe the 26th student in the class, and I thought, this one looks like trouble. She looked like she had something on the wall. So, and so many good colleagues and friends. I don't know if I'm quite ready to go, but I'm going, and I keep telling people I'm coming back to volunteer. I was taught when I started at Stewart by these people I idolized, the ladies in the faculty lounge. We had separate lounges then. And Norristown was the premier school district, had been in Montgomery County, and I just so wanted to be that because the children are wonderful. I have the sweetest children I've had in years and years, and just wonderful children.
This next gentleman is very anal because it says that he has worked here for 32.6 years. Member of EANA, PSEA, NEA, Philadelphia Suburban Business Teachers Association, Pennsylvania Volleyball Coaches Association. He has been involved in a bunch of things here at Norristown Area High School. Student Council Advisor, FBLA Advisor, Eagles Nest Store Manager for 12 years, bowling coach for 3 years, girls volleyball coach for 6 years, boys volleyball coach for 3 years, faculty manager for 5 years, something called the HAP program for 6 years, the intramural director for 9 years, the faculty executive committee for question mark years. I'm not sure what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, I think there's another political convention going on. What more can I say about Mr. John Sauer, except that he has been married for 31 years? To Carol, they have 2 daughters and a dog, Lisa and Lori and Tux. His hobbies are kind of like my hobbies. Volleyball, skiing, collecting old toys, banks, collecting baseball cards, loves the Phillies. And John and I, a couple of years ago, went to Cooperstown, New York, the best spot in America, because we love baseball and we saw Mike Schmidt and Richie Ashburn inducted into the Hall of Fame. Come on up here, John.
I can't. I come bearing gifts. Where are all the retirees? I can't see anyone. This is a stress management tool.